Hello and welcome to this edition of SQL Server 2008 Chalk Talk. My name is Shivaram Venkatesh and I'm the Director for the Application Platform Server Marketing Business in Microsoft India. This edition of Chalk Talk is going to be slightly different from the other editions of Chalk Talk that we've done. This one is going to have slides and will also have digital ink, which I will be using to annotate and explain points further. Microsoft's vision for our data platform is really centered around enabling users of all sizes and of all types not just to store information securely and make it available to them, but convert data and information into business insight and action. That is really what our centerfold of our entire data platform vision is. And the centerpiece of this vision is SQL Server 2008. SQL Server is a cornerstone and the pillar of our data platform vision. Data can be in any form. It can be structured, unstructured, semi-structured, it can be spatial in nature, or it can be standard data that you'd want to input. Whatever is your data type, or whatever is your business that requires you to store data from a database storage mechanism, SQL Server is really catered to delivering to that vision. Right from the smallest mobile devices all the way up to the cloud, SQL Server today is able to cater to your business and essentially is a platform for all types of data. It should be a platform where you can bring in data from multiple different data sources, whether data happens to be data from spatial data such as S7 conformant data, whether data is a standard database or application specific storage data, whether it's XML or whether it's websites or whether it's pictures. Whatever is your data requirement that your business requires you to use, it should be available in the database product. And SQL Server today offers you those capabilities. SQL Server's vision is really catered around the following pillars which you are seeing on the screen ahead. It caters to dynamic development. So what does dynamic development really mean? Today you have applications that have been built for either specific users or generic applications that can be adapted for your use. Whatever the case may be, application development today should not be only in the hands of IT. Applications should be developed that are dynamically adaptable, changing to your business needs, giving you the information that you require, and helping you be more productive. You can create an application using .NET, which is the most pervasive development environment we have in the world today, integrate it easily, seamlessly into SQL Server backend data store, manipulate the data, and help users achieve the productivity they want to have. But at the same time, you don't want to lose the flexibility that these users have and give it into the hands of IT and developers. You want users to be able to do some of the modifications themselves. But at the same time, it should be adaptable enough to be able to change to changing business requirements. And that's what dynamic development really brings to the table and brings to the fore. SQL Server, along with our .NET framework and Visual Studio, give you that integrated capability to build applications quickly, deploy them very efficiently, and change them whenever you require. But at the same time, we actually help you to convert the information stored in those applications from basic data into pervasive insight. Last but not least really is about giving the power of pervasive insight into users. Right from data on a mobile device, which exists today in a form that users can actually make use of. Every user carries a mobile phone today, and mobile phones get more intelligent as every model comes along. But data stored there could be application specific or it could be as simple as a contact information. Right from a mobile to a cloud, there are a lot of processes that can happen in between. Mobile and cloud are just storage mechanisms, but how do you actually convert that into useful information that we as users need to make those decisions? Today, the focus has really shifted from data storage alone to pervasive insight. What does that really mean? It means that you need to be able to convert whatever data you happen to be storing in your backend database storage engines into an actionable. And how you do that is to provide that data in a simplified format, provide data that's easily searchable, provide data accessibility on any device or any platform. From your basic data, you need to be able to search, you need to be able to find information, you need to be able to query effectively. in a mechanism that you are familiar with. You could use a browser to do that, you could use Office to do it, you could search off a portal, but whatever mechanism you used for querying or searching for information, you should be able to do it in a manner that you are comfortable with. Once you find the data you're looking for, you then need to get a decision out of that data. You need to find what to do with that data. You need to find what you need to do next once you've found what you're looking for. And that's really coming down to the analysis and analytical capability that SQL Server provides you today. SQL Server today is an integrated platform that gives you those tools that convert information into analysis. You can slice and dice your data. You can organize your data into ways using familiar tools like Excel, using familiar tools like Word, using familiar tools like Outlook, and convert the back-end data into useful decisions that can actually make you more productive in your environment. SQL Server has truly come a long way. From 1989, when we started the first version of development with Sybase jointly for the older operating system called OS/2, we moved along the development journey of SQL Server, and we moved it along at every version, and every version brought out some enhancements in the product. So with our first version of Microsoft SQL Server, two later versions of SQL Server 4.5, for example, to SQL Server which was a 250 user enhancement on the product, to SQL Server 7, which was truly enterprise class and to development from grounds up, to SQL Server 2000, which really brought Microsoft SQL Server into the enterprise. SQL Server 2000 actually brought out the truly enterprise class capability of the product. With SQL Server 2005, which was the next major release of the product, we really bundled in a tremendous amount of business intelligence, analysis, and integration capabilities. At this point is where SQL Server truly scaled to an enterprise class business analysis engine, not just a relational storage engine. This is where our product reported not a single vulnerability which was known, a critical vulnerability which was known, but at the same time provided you enterprise class reliability, a 24/7 availability, and integration into several existing tools that we had. And now comes SQL Server 2008, which is what we are in today. SQL Server 2008 is not just truly enterprise class, but is truly user enterprise class. And what does that mean? User enterprise class is slightly different from truly enterprise class because it brings out the power of the backend systems, which are those scalably large systems, into the hands of users. And that's what really database systems should be doing. Bring you the power of that large storage systems and data and analysis and reporting into the hands of users who can really use that to make decisions. SQL Server 2008 builds on three basic tenets. SQL Server being trusted, your database system being trusted, your database system being truly productive, and your database system being truly intelligent enough to give you the data that you are looking for. What if your information is not secure? What if you want to protect your information right from its creation to its archival and storage? And not just that, who has access, what kind of access, when do they have access, what was written, when was it written? These are typically things that any database system would do. But more importantly than all of this is to ensure that you not only protect your system with the maximum levels of security, but you are able to also provide your users with data whenever it's required, whenever it's needed. And that means absolutely continuous business availability of your data. And most importantly, give users a predictable response. Predictability of responses, shortest possible time responses, is really what a user is looking for. Because users today are pretty much abstracted from backend systems that run their data. But what they're interested in is when I access or I want something, it comes to me in the shortest possible time with the maximum levels of efficiency. Database systems should be productive. Database systems should be self-managing. Database systems should be managed by policies. You don't need an army of people just to sit and manage your database systems. You want these systems to self-repair themselves, to manage themselves, to be managed by company policies and not just IT policies always. And most importantly, the ability to simplify what kind of applications you want these data to be accessed from and access to and provide information to. Application requirements should typically be business-based, simple to design and develop, and very flexible enough to change and adapt as your business requirements do change. And that's why our dynamic application development, as I told you earlier, is super important and supported by your database environment. Information that is what you require to store and not constrained by the backend database system. Information could be spatial, could be structured, could be HTML, could be XML, could be pictures, could be standard data that you store. Whatever is your data requirement or storage requirement, your system should be able to provide that. SQL Server today provides you enhanced capabilities in almost all of these storage types, whether it's spatial data or pictures, XML, you name it, it's there on SQL Server. Last but not least, like I told you before, the use of a database system really is enhanced when users are able to convert base data or data that they searched for into decisions. The system should be able to provide you the ability or the intelligence to be able to do that kind of conversion. Because in the end, we've got to remember, data is as good as your interpretation and your decision. And that's really what actionable insights are provided by SQL Server at all levels. So trusted, productive, and intelligent. SQL Server is built on the premise of being a trusted platform, a trusted data platform. What does that really embody? It means that information or the database system should be available when you need it, should be able to give you the information that you want when you need it in the device that you require it on. At the same time, the information should be securely managed, should be securely updated, should be securely accessed, and last but not least, should be securely stored. Predictability of response time, predictability of what kind of information will come to you, depending on what you're looking for, should be made available. Whether it's free text search information you're looking for, structured information that you're looking at, a report that you're looking for, or an application that you are running which accesses SQL Server in the background. The system should be very responsible and should give you a predictably fast response time. And that helps you as a user to be able to work on. A database system should be as productive as possible, not just for the staff managing the database system. For example, you don't need an army of people just to sit there, look at a screen the entire day to ensure nothing goes wrong or to ensure standard maintenance tasks. You want the database system to be able to manage itself. You want it to be able to tune itself as much as possible. You want it to be able to heal as much as possible. But at the same time, you want it to be managed by policies defined by the business and not always by IT. And thereby, productive management by policy is the tenet that SQL Server is really built on. And that's a tenet that the next version of SQL Server will be built on. Simplify application development. Today, applications are of various types. You build applications that are custom. You build applications that are you buy applications that are packaged. But no matter what your application environment is, if it's built on Visual Studio and the .NET environment and integrated along with SQL Server, you have the capability to provide additional functionality of your application, enhanced capability, quicker time to develop, quicker time to deploy, easier time to adapt from our .NET stable and integrated into the database environment. The product scales and delivers capability as and when you require it. And most importantly, it's about storage of any information in the system. It could be unstructured information, it could be structured information, there could be pictures, HTML, XML, standard data, and spatial data. Depending on whatever your business storage needs are, SQL Server provides you the ability to store that today. What if the system can give you exactly what you are looking for? Whether you're searching for that information from an enterprise portal, whether you're searching for that information from a free text, from a website, or you're searching it from an application, or you're searching it off the database system directly. As long as you have access to searching for that information, which is very tightly controlled in SQL Server, you should be able to get that information in a form that you are familiar with. For example, you are very familiar with using Excel. The data that comes back to you should be available in Excel for you to change in a pivot table or a pivot chart or any mechanism that you want to slice and dice the data from. It should be able to give you analytical capability by which you input